Now this is qualifying, so this counts. The 61st running of the Rolex 24 Hours next Saturday and Sunday, which you can see and hear live via IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. We've got plenty of coverage leading up to that point and various other races as well. However, we are about to set the grid, and we'll start with the GT cars. GT Daytona are GT3 category cars. There are two classes within this GTD class. The standard GTD, that is cars that is made up of, has to have at least bronze and silver drivers, whereas the GTD Pro can have all platinums. That's the factory class. It's the drivers that make the difference in terms of which class you are in. The number 66 JG Wentworth, blue, green and white rather than the blue it was last season, gradient machine, as we've had the NTE Lamborghini spinning at turn 3. This is the number 42 car of Don Yount. Was that his outlap? No, it was not. And he managed to get in the way of the number 12, not intentionally, but when recovering, got in the way of the Lexus
of Aaron Telitz.
Of the 12 car, yeah. And that was a big spin coming out of turn 2 towards turn 3. Here comes farm back there and goes to the top. Gradient to the top. Carl Marcelli in the 93 Acura. That's the second of the Acuras. That is not a full season entry. Big slide from Trinkler coming out of turn number 2 into 3. Losing time there for Owen. See who else with 90 seconds to go still has the tyres. Sun Energy One machine going through the back chicane at Le Mans. Great run for Phil Ellis on just his 4th lap as well, so that was his 3rd flyer. And he's coming through the tri-over, a little bit of darkness in the sky over to where the weather came from last night. Comes across the line. 1:47.9 does not improve, but he's got one more lap. And he's got a decent space on the racetrack ahead of him here in that white, red and blue number 57.
Whoa, Ross Gunn, John. Ross Gunn just went to P1 for Pro.
Only 4th quickest though for the GTs, but an Aston Martin, the heart of racing, number 23, with Roscoe at the wheel, has gone to the outside of the 2nd row and the best of the Pro cars. Checkered flag for Mario Farnbacher. He'll be no better than 7th in that number 66 JG Wentworth Acura. Maro Engel goes up to 4th position and takes pole in GTD Pro for WeatherTech with a 1:46.7. Now what can Ross Gunn do? Not great in the middle sector for Ross Gunn. Got to pull something out of the bag in sector 3. In that 23 Aston Martin, can't do it. 3 GTD cars at the front, and they're all AMG GT3s. Roman De Angelis, can he do anything? He's got a decent lap going, but he's not going to be there. He's lifted off in the middle sector, and in fact, he comes into the pit lane. So 4 AMG GT3s at the front of the field, 3 of them running in the GTD class, and then the top of the Pro class is the number 79. So Winward take pole position with Phil Ellis. It'll be the LMP3s, 8, 9 of them head out onto the circuits. So 45s and 46s. Guillaume de Oliveira to the top for a moment, 45.1, but a 44.8 by Luca Mars, and Cameron Shields delivers on the promise that we were building him up to with a 1:44.204 and 2 fastest sectors. Nino Pino to the top for the number 33, 43.6, and the gap is now a 1/10.5. De Oliveira goes into 2nd, Shields to 3rd, Mars now 4th, Dakota Dickinson down to 5th. Luca Mars with a big lock up down at the International Horseshoe last time around. That's not going to do his Michelin tyres any good, and his chance of improving from 5th position in the bright yellow number 85 for JDC Miller Motorsports. Oh, and an off-track moment now for Anthony Mantella. He had just improved and got ahead of all bar one of the GTDs. That'll be rear locking going into the international hairpin. That's exactly, actually, what we saw a moment or two ago from Luca Mars, but Luca tried not to turn in, and there's another spin from Luca Mars. Now he's flat spotted the tyres here, and once you've got one flat spot on the tyre, it will start to make it worse. Now where is he now? Oh, he's airborne over the curbs at the Le Mans chicane, and he thought he had it, but he didn't. As the checkered flag is out, but they will be allowed to finish the laps they're on. Dakota Dickinson's put the fastest sector 2, the middle sector in, of anybody in this session. He's on course to move up from 3rd place, but he's got to find the run to the line. Here he comes now and goes onto the front row. A 10th of a second away from Pino's best time. Well, that was entertaining, Shea, Adam. They weren't on the track at the same part of the track, but they were duking it out as if they were battling towards a checkered flag. Ultimately, the top 3 are within a 10.5 of each other, and the top 5 down to Gar Robinson are within just under 7 tenths, and it's a pole position for Nino Pino. Slightly different engine noise. The LMP3 is a little bit lower rever. This is still a V8 from Gibson, but a little higher rev limit set for these cars. Keating getting a decent run and going to the high side as he comes onto the tri-oval. Ben Keating to the top, 140.541 at the completion of his 4th lap. 1.2 seconds ahead of the field. That won't last though. I confidently predict that that will not last. I did hear some squealing, and it's the number 8 car, John Ferrano, the Tower Machine, into the tyre wall hard, backwards, and that is at the Le Mans chicane. I thought I heard in the background some locked up tyres. 2 cars involved. The number 55 is out there as well, the Proton Competition blue car.
Oh no, now that's Fred Pordad.
That's Fred Pordad, and that is at a different part of the track. So let's see if we can unpick what happened with Fred's car at least. Fred went straight on at turn 6. He should have been turning left. 134.7 is the first flying lap for Ricky Taylor, and that with all 3 sectors in purple, meaning he's fastest. We reckon that's the fastest lap of the weekend in GTD. These new GTP cars are showing what they can do in these short runs. We've not seen this speed all week so far. Track conditions are pretty good, 38 Celsius, 27 in the air for these guys. And back in along the pit lane for Tom Blomqvist.
Oh, uh-oh.
And he's 2 seconds off. Now they can't touch the car. They've plugged something into it and put it up. Oh, yeah, they're doing a tyre change.
Maybe they are allowed a tyre change for GTP.
I thought so. It's off, big off for Tandy. The left front of the car, and this again is at the middle of the bus stop. He's pulled away the harvesting of electric power for some of their braking. Yeah, lost it immediately he turned in. The tyre barrier doing a cracking job at that point. The moment that he turned in, the back end was gone, and that's the big disadvantage of having wind blowing behind you. Here we go then, money on the line and points on the line for the start of the season. 35 points and the headlines and the press release. First GTP pole in the balance. 1 lap to do it. This is super pressure for all of these drivers. Felipe Nasser then with clear track ahead of him. Who's got the best car in the last sector? It will be Felipe Nasser who comes through first now and stops the clocks at a 134.114. And there's Blomqvist goes through under a 10th, a 34.0. magnificent stuff. Durrani does not improve his position. Alex Lynn didn't come out the pits. Bourdais, with 1 lap to do it, gets on the outside of row 2. That's pressure. Tom Blomqvist taking pole position by 0.08 of a second, 0.08 and 0.8 of a second for the field.